I signed a contract in blood with a vampire king. Not because I'm brave, because I was desperate. He promised to save my dying sister if I married him. What he didn't tell me. The marriage requires 3 blood rituals. And if I can't make myself fall in love with him in 30 days, my sister dies and I become his slave for eternity. My ex-fiancé humiliated me at a party last night. He called me worthless in front of everyone. Now I'm married to the most dangerous creature on earth, and honestly, I'd do it all again just to watch my ex's world burn. This is my story. And trust me, you've never heard anything like it. Elena's champagne flute shattered against the marble floor. The ballroom fell silent. 200 faces turned toward her, their expressions ranging from shock to barely concealed delight. Marcus stood on the elevated stage, his arm around a blonde woman Elena had never seen before, his smile sharp as a blade. As I was saying, Marcus continued, his voice carrying effortlessly across the stunned silence, I'm thrilled to announce my engagement to Victoria Ashford. She's taught me what I truly want in a partner: grace, sophistication, and most importantly, genuine class. His eyes locked onto Elena's. I'd like to thank my ex-fiancée Elena for teaching me what I didn't want. Sometimes you have to date down to appreciate up. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Elena's face burned. Her hands trembled as she bent to pick up the broken glass, desperate for something to do, somewhere to look that wasn't at the sea of pitying and mocking faces surrounding her. Leave it, someone whispered. The staff will handle it. But Elena couldn't move. 6 months ago these people had been her friends. 6 months ago Marcus had promised her forever. Then she'd refused to sign his prenuptial agreement, the one that would have left her with nothing if the marriage failed, and he'd systematically destroyed her. Rumors about her being unstable, gold-digging, desperate. Her event-planning business had collapsed overnight when his family's influence ensured no one would hire her. Her phone buzzed in her clutch. She fumbled it open, grateful for the excuse to look away. The text from Lily made her blood turn to ice. At hospital. Doctor says 72 hours max without treatment. Need $2 million for experimental trial. I'm scared. The ballroom spun. Elena's sister was 22 years old. Brilliant, kind, full of life despite the rare blood disease that had been slowly killing her for 3 years. Elena had been putting every penny toward traditional treatments, but they'd stopped working. 72 hours, she stumbled toward the terrace doors, ignoring the whispers that followed her retreat. The night air hit her face like a slap. She made it to the garden's edge before her knees gave out, and she sank onto a stone bench, phone clutched in shaking hands. $2 million. She had $1,400 in her account. Crying alone in gardens. How cinematic. Elena's head snapped up. A man stood 3 feet away, and she had no idea how he'd gotten so close without her hearing. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than her yearly rent, tailored so perfectly it seemed painted on. His face was striking in a way that made her uncomfortable. Too symmetrical, too flawless, like something carved rather than born. Dark hair swept back from a face that could have been 30 or 300. But it was his eyes that held her frozen. Gray, almost silver, and utterly inhuman in their intensity. I'm not, she started then stopped. She was crying. Who are you? Someone who can help you. He moved closer, silent as smoke. Your sister has 72 hours. You need $2 million. Your ex-fiancé just humiliated you in front of everyone who matters in this city. And you're wondering if jumping off this terrace would hurt less than enduring another second of this life. Elena shot to her feet, backing away. How do you know about Lily? I know everything about you, Elena Thorne. I know your mother died when you were 16 and you've raised Lily alone. I know Marcus Wellston promised you security and gave you ruin. I know you're a fighter but you're drowning and there's no shore in sight. He tilted his head, studying her like she was a particularly interesting specimen. I'm offering you a life raft. What kind of life raft? The kind that comes with $5 million, immediate treatment for your sister at the best facility in the world, and the complete social and professional destruction of everyone who's wronged you. His smile was beautiful and terrible. The kind that costs something. Elena's heart hammered. What's the cost? Marriage. 5 years. You live with me, comply with certain requirements I'll explain after you sign, and never attempt to leave before the contract expires. That's insane. That's the offer. He produced a business card from nowhere, holding it between 2 fingers. Lucian Dracarys. Decide by midnight. Your sister doesn't have long and my patience is shorter. She took the card with numb fingers. The paper was heavy, expensive, with a single phone number embossed in silver. Why me? Because you're exactly what I need. His eyes flashed just for a second, reflecting light like an animal's. And because I always collect my debts. He turned and walked away, disappearing into the shadows between the hedges. Elena stared at the card, her mind racing. This was crazy. Dangerous. Probably illegal. Her phone buzzed again. Lily, please tell me you have good news. I don't want to die, Elena. Elena looked back at the ballroom where Marcus was probably celebrating his victory. Then at the card in her hand. Then at her sister's message. She had nothing left to lose. If you're hooked, drop a comment below telling me what you think Elena should do. And don't forget to like and subscribe for the next part of this dark romance. At 11:47 p.m., Elena stood outside a penthouse that occupied the entire top floor of the Obsidian Tower, the most exclusive building in the city. She'd spent 3 hours researching Lucian Dracarys. The results were sparse and unsettling. Reclusive billionaire with holdings in everything from pharmaceuticals to real estate. Old money, the kind that predated records. No social media, no photographs except one grainy image from a 1970s charity event where he looked exactly the same age as he did tonight. No family, no known associates, no scandals. Just money, power, and an unsettling blank space where a person's history should be. Elena pressed the buzzer. The door opened instantly as if he'd been waiting on the other side. Lucian stood in the doorway wearing dark slacks and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, looking simultaneously casual and more dangerous than he had in the garden. Cutting it close, he said, stepping aside. 3 minutes to spare. The penthouse was stunning in a cold, austere way. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the glittering city. Everything was black, white, or gray, marble, leather, steel. No photographs, no personal touches. It felt like walking into a beautiful mausoleum. I have conditions, Elena said, forcing her voice steady. You're not in a position to negotiate. Then why give me until midnight? You could have demanded an answer in the garden. She met his inhuman gaze. You want me specifically. That means I have something you need. So I have conditions. A slow smile crossed his face, revealing teeth that seemed slightly too sharp. Interesting. Go ahead. Lily gets treatment tonight. Before I sign anything. And I want it in writing that if something happens to you, the money for her care continues. Done. I want to know what these requirements are before I agree. No. He moved to a desk, retrieving a thick document. Some things you learn after commitment. But I'll give you this. I won't physically harm you, I won't share you with anyone else, and you'll have more freedom than you do now. You'll be protected, wealthy, and powerful. The requirements are strange but not cruel. That's not reassuring. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be honest. He laid the contract on the glass coffee table. Read it if you want, but the relevant parts are simple. 5 years of marriage. You live here, follow my rules, and in exchange your sister lives and you get everything you need to rebuild your life. Elena picked up the contract. The legal language was dense, but certain phrases jumped out. Absolute obedience in matters of household governance. Compliance with spousal requirements as defined by primary party. Binding arbitration in perpetuity. This sounds like I'm signing my life away. You are. For 5 years. Then you're free. He produced a pen, sleek, black, with a silver point that looked sharp enough to draw blood. Or you can leave now, go back to your empty apartment and watch your sister die in 3 days. Your choice, Elena. It always is. She thought of Lily's text. Of Marcus's mocking smile. Of the humiliation, the helplessness, the suffocating weight of having no options left. I need a pen, she said. Use this one. He handed it to her, and when she clicked it, the tip gleamed red in the light. Sign in blood. Family tradition. That's insane. You keep saying that. Yet here you are. His voice was soft, hypnotic. Sign, Elena. Save your sister. Take your life back. Her hand moved before her mind caught up. She pressed the sharp tip to her thumb, wincing as it broke skin. Blood welled up, dark and red. She signed her name at the bottom of the contract, the letters smearing slightly. The moment she finished, the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. The windows rattled. Lucian's eyes flashed brilliant crimson, and Elena stumbled backward, her scream caught in her throat. What the hell are you? Your husband. His voice had changed, deeper, resonant with something ancient. Welcome to the family, wife. Before she could run, he was in front of her, moving faster than possible. He caught her wrist gently, pulling her thumb to his mouth. She felt his tongue against the cut, hot and wet, and then the wound closed. Gone. Vampire, she whispered. King actually. He released her, stepping back. Your sister's ambulance is already en route to Mercy General. Dr. Sarah Chin, the world's leading specialist in rare blood disorders, is on a plane from Switzerland. Lily will receive her first treatment in 2 hours. Elena's legs gave out. She collapsed onto the leather sofa, her mind unable to process what she was seeing, hearing, understanding. Vampires aren't real. Yet I'm standing here. He poured amber liquid into 2 crystal glasses, offering her one. Drink. It helps with the shock. She took it automatically, downing it in one burning gulp. Why me? Why this? Lucian sat across from her, his posture perfect, predatory. 300 years ago, I was cursed by a witch whose family my ancestors slaughtered. The curse is slowly stripping away my humanity, turning me into a mindless beast. In 6 months I'll be gone completely, just hunger and rage wearing my face. He leaned forward, his gray eyes boring into hers. The only way to break it is to marry a woman descended from the hunter bloodline that originally protected the witch's family, and consummate that marriage with genuine passion born of choice, not compulsion. And I'm descended from this bloodline. Your mother's family. The Thorns. Ancient vampire hunters who abandoned their calling 4 generations ago. He smiled without humor. You're the first viable candidate I've found in 2 centuries. Your blood sings to me, Elena. It's why I've been watching you for months. Months? Horror crept up her spine. You've been stalking me? Protecting you. Marcus's family has connections to vampire society. If they'd discovered what you were, you'd have been sold to the highest bidder. He stood, moving to the windows. You were safer as a nobody. But when I saw him humiliate you tonight, when I felt your desperation, I knew it was time to make my move. Consummate the marriage, Elena repeated, her voice hollow. You mean sex? I mean 3 blood rituals across 3 blood moons. The first, we exchange blood, creating a bond. The second, a deeper exchange that links our life forces. The third, consummation while the bond is active, mixing our essences completely. He turned to face her, and his expression was colder than she'd ever seen. It has to be genuine, Elena. The curse will know if you're faking, if you're just going through the motions. You have to want me. Choose me. Surrender to me willingly. And if I don't? If I can't? Then your sister's treatment stops immediately, and the contract's supernatural clauses activate. You'll be bound to me as a servant for eternity. Not a wife. Not a partner. A slave. His voice was utterly emotionless. I didn't write those terms to be cruel. The magic demands equivalent exchange. You free me from my curse, or you take my place in bondage. Elena launched herself at him, fists raised. You bastard. You manipulative evil. He caught her wrists effortlessly, holding her at arm's length. I'm a vampire king who's been losing his soul for 3 centuries. Did you expect Prince Charming? He released her and she stumbled back. I gave you a choice in the garden. You made it. Now you live with the consequences. Some choice. My sister dies or I become your magical sex slave. You could have walked away. Let Lily die peacefully. Started over somewhere new. His eyes glittered. But you didn't. Because you're a fighter, Elena. You survive. You endure. And you do whatever it takes to protect the people you love. He moved closer, his presence overwhelming. That's why you're perfect. That's why this might actually work. Her phone rang, shattering the tension. She grabbed it with shaking hands. Lily? Elena. Her sister's voice was stronger than it had been in weeks. Oh my God, the hospital just brought me to this incredible private room, and there's a doctor here who says she can save me. She says someone paid for everything. Was it you? How did you? I'll explain later. Elena's voice cracked. Just let them help you, okay? I love you. I love you too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Elena ended the call and looked at Lucian, tears streaming down her face. Gratitude and hatred warred inside her chest. I hate you. I know. He handed her a black silk handkerchief. You'll hate me more before this is over. But you'll also understand me. And eventually, if we're very lucky, you'll want me enough to break this curse. He gestured toward the hallway. Your room is the second door on the left. Your clothes have already been moved from your apartment. We have 30 days until the first blood moon. I suggest you use that time to adjust. Adjust to being a vampire's prisoner? Adjust to being a queen. His smile was sharp. You're not my prisoner, Elena. You're my wife, my equal in the eyes of vampire society. That means you have power now. Real power. The kind that can destroy Marcus Wellston and everyone who laughed at you tonight. He tilted his head. Unless you'd rather wallow in victimhood? The challenge in his voice ignited something fierce in her chest. What do you mean, destroy them? I mean, I own half the businesses in this city. I can ruin reputations with a phone call. I can make Marcus lose everything he has, everyone he loves, until he's the one crying in gardens. Lucian's smile widened. But only if you want it. Only if you're willing to become something more than the woman he broke. Elena wiped her tears, her jaw setting. I want it. Good. He pulled out his phone. Then let's start with his company. Wellston Industries has been cooking their books for years. A well-timed audit, an anonymous tip to the SEC, and Marcus's father will be under investigation by morning. The company will tank, the family will be disgraced, and Marcus will lose his trust fund. You can do that. I can do anything. He sent a text, then pocketed his phone. Consider it a wedding gift. Despite everything, Elena felt a dark thrill run through her. What else can we do? His eyebrow arched. 30 seconds ago you hated me. I still hate you. But I hate him more. She met his inhuman gaze. If I'm trapped in this insane situation, I might as well get something out of it. Lucian laughed, a genuine sound that transformed his cold face into something almost warm. There she is. The woman I've been waiting for. He gestured to the sofa. Sit. Let me tell you about vampire society and exactly how much power you now have. They talked until dawn. Lucian explained the intricate hierarchy of vampire nobility, the courts that govern supernatural society, the rules that kept their world hidden from humans. He told her about the vampires who would challenge her, test her, try to undermine her position. He described the dangers she'd face and the protections he could offer. The court will meet you in 3 days, he said finally. They'll be vicious. Some want me to fail so they can seize my territory. Others want to control you, use you as a puppet queen. You'll need to be strong. I don't know how to be strong in your world. Then learn. He stood, offering his hand. I'll teach you. But first you need rest. The sun will rise soon and I need to sleep. You sleep during the day? Like the movies? Some clichés are true. His hand remained extended. Take it, Elena. This is the first choice that's truly yours. Trust me enough to let me guide you or face this world alone. She looked at his hand, pale and perfect in the dim light. Then she placed hers in his fingers closed around hers, cool and strong. Smart girl. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens when Elena faces the vampire court. Drop a like if you're Team Elena. The vampire court convened in an underground chamber that looked like it had been carved from a single massive diamond. Chandeliers dripped crystal tears, and the walls reflected candlelight and fractured rainbows. Elena wore a black gown Lucian had chosen, something between armor and seduction, with a neckline that plunged daringly and a skirt that whispered against marble floors. 50 vampires filled the space, their eyes tracking her like predators watching prey. Lucian's hand rested on her lower back, a possessive claim that sent shivers down her spine. Smile, he murmured. They can smell fear. I'm not afraid. It was a lie, but she lifted her chin anyway. Liar. His lips brushed her ear. But a convincing one. They descended the stairs together, every eye in the room fixed on them. The vampires were beautiful in an unsettling way, too perfect, too still, like wax figures that might suddenly move. The women wore gowns from different centuries, and the men ranged from sharp modern suits to elaborate period clothing. At the center of the room, a striking woman rose from a throne-like chair. She had white blonde hair, crimson lips, and eyes like chips of ice. Her gown was deep burgundy, cut to showcase a body that had been frozen in immortal perfection. Seraphine, Lucian said quietly. My former lover. 200 years ago. Elena's stomach clenched. Of course. Because this nightmare needed to get worse. Lucian, darling. Seraphine glided forward, her movements liquid grace. You've brought us a pet. How quaint. Her gaze raked over Elena with unconcealed disdain. She's very young. Very human. Very temporary. She's my wife, Lucian said, his voice dropping to something dangerous. Your queen. You'll address her with respect. Will I? Seraphine circled Elena like a shark. Tell me, little human, do you know what you've married? Do you understand the monster wearing that beautiful face? I understand he's powerful enough that you're threatened by me, Elena shot back, surprised by her own boldness. Otherwise you wouldn't be working so hard to make me feel small. Shocked silence rippled through the chamber. Then someone laughed, a dark-haired vampire in the back wearing an amused expression. Seraphine's smile turned razor-sharp. Spirit, how delightful. It'll make breaking you so much more satisfying. She turned to address the court. I challenge the legitimacy of this union. Lucian's curse requires genuine bond, not a desperate human trading her body for money. I propose an alternative solution. Through our established connection, I can channel the magic needed to break his curse. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Lucian's hand tightened on Elena's back. The witch's curse was specific, he said coldly. Hunter bloodline. Genuine choice. You qualify for neither. Vampire law allows testing of alternatives. An elderly vampire stood, his voice carrying authority. Lady Seraphine has the right to attempt her method while the human is evaluated. If the court determines the girl cannot fulfill the requirements, you must accept the alternative. This is ridiculous, Elena said. You can't just... Silence? Seraphine's power lashed out, an invisible force that made Elena's knees buckle. You don't speak in this court without permission, human. You're here on sufferance, nothing more. Lucian moved between them instantly, his own power flooding the room like a tidal wave. Candles flickered. The crystal chandeliers swayed. Touch her again and I'll remind you why I'm king and you're not. The tension was suffocating. Finally, the elderly vampire raised a hand. The challenge is accepted. 30 days to the first blood moon. We'll reconvene then to assess both options. His ancient eyes fixed on Elena. Survive until then, little hunter. If you can. The court dispersed in clusters of whispered conversation. Seraphine approached Lucian, deliberately ignoring Elena. Walk with me, darling. We have much to discuss about the ritual requirements. Lucian glanced at Elena. She wanted to scream at him not to go, but she forced herself to nod. He disappeared with Seraphine into a side chamber, leaving Elena surrounded by hostile immortals. You won't last a week. A red-haired vampire appeared at her elbow. Seraphine has been obsessed with Lucian for 2 centuries. She'll destroy you. Let her try. Elena kept her voice steady even as panic clawed at her throat. Brave words. The dark-haired vampire who'd laughed earlier materialized on her other side. He had a roguish smile and eyes that sparkled with mischief. I'm Cashin, the king's lieutenant. You did well not cowering. I wanted to. But you didn't. That's what matters. He offered his arm. Come. Let me show you how to navigate this nest of vipers before they eat you alive. Over the next hour, Cashin explained the complex web of alliances and rivalries. He pointed out who wanted Lucian dead, who wanted to control him, who was genuinely loyal. Elena's head spun with names and factions and centuries-old grudges. Why are you helping me? She asked finally. Because Lucian deserves better than Seraphine's manipulation. Cashin's expression turned serious. And because you remind me of someone I loved once. Someone human, brave, and doomed. His smile returned, but it was sad now. Try not to die, Elena Thorne. It would be refreshing to see a human actually survive this world. Lucian emerged from the chamber 2 hours later, his expression unreadable. Seraphine followed, looking satisfied in a way that made Elena's blood boil. The ride home was silent. Elena stared out the car window, watching the city blur past, trying not to imagine what Lucian and Seraphine had discussed. Trying not to picture them together. Back in the penthouse, she finally exploded. Did you sleep with her? No. Lucian poured himself a drink. But I let her believe I might. I needed to discover her real plan. Which is? She's working with the faction that wants me dead. If she can convince the court you're inadequate, they'll force me to try her method, which is designed to fail. When I die, they'll carve up my territory. He turned to face her. They'll kill you too, of course. You know too much. Terror flooded through Elena. So what do? We make them believe in us. Lucian crossed to her, his presence overwhelming in the intimate space. Starting now. Starting with this. He cupped her face, his thumb brushing her lips. I'm going to kiss you, Elena. And you're going to kiss me back like you mean it. Because in 30 days, we need to convince an entire court that you're desperately in love with me. Her heart hammered. I'm not, I know. His voice was soft, almost gentle. But you will be. Or we'll both die trying. He kissed her then, and it was nothing like she expected. Not forceful or demanding, but achingly tender, like he was trying to memorize the taste of her. Elena's hands came up to his chest, torn between pushing him away and pulling him closer. When he finally pulled back, his gray eyes had darkened to storm clouds. 30 days, Elena. Make me believe it. He left her standing there, lips burning, heart racing, and for the first time since signing that cursed contract, she wondered if the most dangerous thing in her new world wasn't the vampires who wanted her dead, that it was the vampire king who needed her alive. That's the end of part 1. Comment below whether you think Elena can survive the vampire court, and smash that like button if you want to see what happens during the first blood ritual. Subscribe for part 2 coming soon.